Well, we've got 8:05 here, and it looks like we got a couple watch parties going on, which is kind of fun to see. So welcome. I'm Jackson Sutton. I'm one of the board members on Echelon. So wanted to welcome everybody and thank you so much for joining. Really excited about this event. Kind of the brainchild of Ashley, who's going to speak at the end of this event. Again, welcome. Like I said, if you have any questions or anything like that, if you've got any Zoom issues, let us know. You can send a chat. We're happy to answer any questions. But I'm going to turn it over to my wife, Kelly, to give a little bit more background on Echelon and introduce our kind of guests of the hour.
All right. Well, as Jackson said, I'm Kelly Sutton. I am also on the board for Echelon. I mostly manage communications and social media with Emily Cruson, now Watson. I keep messing that up. But wanted to tell you a little bit about Echelon if you've never heard of it before or if you're just being introduced. So Echelon is really all about connecting with the Salvation Army, and really what we're aiming to do is connect the next generation to do the most good in our community. And so what Salvation Army does in our community, just so you know, there are a few really awesome things that we are involved in. And so one of which is really near and dear to my heart and Jackson's heart is the Center of Hope downtown. The Center of Hope is the only family shelter in town. So the only one that will keep families intact when they're going through bouts of being outside of a home. And we also support the Salvation Army's Boys and Girls Club, the senior services, all kinds of different groups. What am I forgetting? Those are the main ones. And what we look to do with Echelon is we want to be a connector. So we want you guys to have fun and to meet other young people in the community, but we also want to make sure that you guys know about these opportunities to volunteer and serve the community in Winston-Salem. So we're really excited to have you guys here tonight. Emily, did you want to add anything? Are you good?
Awesome job, Kelly, and everybody welcome. I just want to say I'm Emily Watson, and we're really excited about this event. And I'm part of social media, and we're just so excited. We hope that we can get a lot of people to join and just really get involved with Salvation Army. And we're really excited about our giveaway tonight too. So just stay tuned and thank you.
Yeah. So without further ado, I wanted to introduce Trey and Mason, who are the Graceful Boards, and they are going to be leading us through this awesome event tonight and kind of show us how to put together an amazing, beautiful charcuterie board. And if you don't already follow them on social media, you should go do that because the boards are really inspiring. So without further ado, you guys take it away.
Awesome. Can everyone hear us?
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, Kelly, thanks for that intro. We are Trey and Mason Childress, and we are the Graceful Boards, but when I say we, I really mean Mason. She is the Graceful Boards. I am her helper, her glorified helper. I'll give myself that title. But yeah, I'll kick it over to Mason to talk about the Graceful Boards here in a second, but just want to give a quick background on us as to who you're hanging out with tonight virtually. We wish we could be in person, but due to the circumstances, obviously we understand. Maybe we can continue this effort and maybe have something in person sometime soon. We're native to Kernersville. I was actually born in Georgia. She was actually born and raised here in High Point. Her mom is on the call tonight. Just want to call.
Yep.
Hey, Mama Susan. Thank you for joining. Please don't share anything embarrassing about me tonight. That would be great. We live in Kernersville. I work with the connection we had to Jackson and Kelly is I actually work with Jackson at RJ Reynolds. He's my mentor in the management trainee program that I'm currently in. And Mason is a full-time nanny for a family here in Kernersville that she's been with that little girl for 2.5 years, 3.5 years now. So she has a real big heart for kids. Has been a part of the programs of the church that Mason's mom works at for a long time. So that's a little bit about us. Before we get into TGB, please ask questions along the way and come off mute. you can drop them in the chat, but just come off mute, ask questions. We definitely don't want to speak at you for the next 50 minutes. So we'd love just for you guys to hop off. If you have any questions as to what these products are, what we use, how we use it, why we use it, please feel free to ask those questions. But I'll shoot it over to Mason to kind of walk through her business.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys again. Just like Trey said, we don't take this opportunity lightly. This is an amazing experience for us, and to be a part of something really big to help Echelon and especially the Salvation Army. Like Trey said, that's my heart, and I love being able to help others and being a part of something that's just bigger than ourselves. But yes, we are the Graceful Boards, and I started this business back around, I would say early November. It was right before Thanksgiving, and I've always loved charcuterie and loved what it is, and being able to make charcuterie boards and just be able to host parties and have people over. Something that we love is hosting friends and family and having parties. And I feel like something that brings a lot of people together is food, because everyone loves food, especially me. And so I just knew that I wanted to take my love for charcuterie to a bigger level and be able to bring it to other people. It's definitely more of like a luxury item, not necessarily something that you buy just every day, but it's definitely something that you can get for special occasions and parties and just big events to bring friends and family together. So that's kind of my why behind why I started the Graceful Boards. And so, like Trey said, we are located in Kernersville. And so for the business, we do local pickup and delivery around the Triad. Thankfully, we've been really lucky and been able to do some events kind of throughout North Carolina. People have been amazing and hired us for weddings and baby showers and bridal showers and engagement parties. So it's just really cool to see where TGB started in November to where it is now. And so we are so thankful for that. And we're so thankful for every single person who supports us. Like Trey says, I do work a full-time job. So this is something that I do on the side to hopefully in the future take it even bigger and beyond, I would say. So we're just very grateful for all the support, and thank you guys for buying a ticket tonight to not only support Salvation Army and Echelon, but also us. So like I said, we don't take it lightly. But I guess we can kind of go ahead and get started. And like Trey said, if anyone has any questions at any point, please pop up and say something. So first, you obviously...
What we're gonna do real quick is I'm actually gonna angle the camera down, because currently you can't see her beautiful board. So our heads are gonna be chopped off, which is okay for me, because you don't want to see me, let's be honest. You'd much rather see Mason. So I'm gonna angle it down, and then you'll see more of what's going on here, less of what's going on up here. So we'll do that real quick.
Perfect. Yeah. It's like you literally can't see my head at all.
How does...
Come up just a little bit. There you go, that's perfect.
All right, there we go.
Awesome. So obviously to make a charcuterie board, you need something for it to go on. So whatever you guys have at home or something that you may have set aside for this to go on tonight, I have this board right here. This is actually a wedding gift from one of my best friends. It's beautiful. So we will be using this tonight to make the charcuterie board on. And I know that when y'all registered for your ticket and signed up that you got a full list of ingredients. We'll use pretty much all those ingredients tonight. If you didn't get all of them, it's not a big deal. And the amazing thing with charcuterie boards is you can pretty much purchase absolutely anything. My favorite things to purchase and to make for my favorite charcuterie board is what I included in the ingredients list for tonight. And the cool thing about it is everything pairs very well with what the ingredients list is for tonight. So we will get started. So the first thing, you pull out this stuff, all the cheese and the meats. So the very first thing that you want to put on a charcuterie board, this kind of sets the tone for how everything will lay out and be flat on there, is your fruits. So first we'll start with grapes, if everyone wants to get grapes together. And for tonight I have red grapes, but you can literally use anything, red, purple, green, all types of grapes. I usually kind of set it towards the middle, because when you are making your board, you want to then layer everything kind of around the bigger items, which are your fruits and your cheeses and your meats. So we'll do the grapes first. And then also on the ingredients list was a kiwi. if everyone got a kiwi, you can pull it out.
This is what I think is some of the coolest stuff. What she does is these little. She'll explain it, but I call them accent items on the board.
Yes. So this, we're gonna make a kiwi flower with your kiwi. So you definitely will need like a small little paring knife or a little kitchen knife. Doesn't have to be huge because you're making very small cuts into the kiwi. But kiwi flowers are just something that adds kind of just it's very aesthetically pleasing for your boards. And it just adds kind of like a pop of color. And obviously you can eat it too, but it's just really cool to look at when you're when you have it on your board. So what you will do is you're gonna make straight lines, kind of like a triangle, if y'all can see very well, but it's kind of diagonal when you're doing them. You can kind of see that.
Can y'all see what she's doing?
So it looks
Just
like
wanna make
that.
sure.
So you're just making small little cuts at a diagonal, like you're just making little triangles.
Yeah.
Yep, perfect. And you'll just go all the way around the whole entire kiwi.
When we dig in to the fruit, do we go all the way to the middle of it?
So you kind of want to go like halfway. Since you're going around the whole entire kiwi, you'll then kind of meet in the middle when you'll be able to pull it apart. So you don't have to like stab all the way in, kind of just, I would say like in half of an inch to go in with the knife. Exactly.
Jackson, I like your example there.
I'm a bad speller. We're trying it with a strawberry since we didn't get a kiwi.
It's fine. You can do it with, yeah, kiwis, strawberries, oranges. I love doing it with oranges, grapefruits, really any round fruit is perfect to do it in. So you just go all the way around until you meet back with the first cuts that you made. And once you get to that, you'll just kind of slowly twist it a little bit to where you can pull it apart like that. And then once you get your kiwis done, you can kind of set them. I'm putting one kind of up, leaning up against the grapes on the board. You can kind of put one out to the side. If your kiwi kind of has like it pokes out on the end, you can cut it off on the bottom so then it's flat. So then it sets up better on your board. Got it. All right, I think everyone's got to that point. Perfect.
Does everyone, I didn't ask this to begin with, does everyone have some wine or an alcoholic beverage to enjoy this with? Because if you don't,
Doing it wrong.
Go get one.
Okay, so next we're gonna go ahead and go into the cheeses. So you can go ahead and take all the cheeses out. So on the ingredients list, I added on there, we have a hard block of cheddar. This is actually one of my favorite cheddar cheeses. It's a crumble cheddar, an unexpected crumble cheddar. It's aged for like 12 months and it's the absolute best. And so for this, I actually won't be cutting this. I'll kind of be like breaking it apart and crumbling it. But if you just have like a solid block of cheddar cheese, you can also cut that into little squares as well. And then I have Manchego. This is another amazing cheese. You obviously can't eat the rind on this, so we will be cutting that off. And I'm going to show you guys a really awesome way that you can cut the Manchego. And then I also have this Toscano cheese, and it's purple, if you can see. It's soaked in Syrah wine, and it's delicious. And so those are the 3 cheeses that I have tonight, which I put on the ingredients list. You can have, honestly, any types of cheeses. If you couldn't find these exact ones, anything will work. So we'll get started into the cheeses. And a lot of places around town that I do get a lot of my stuff. So I would say that Trader Joe's is probably the best place to get cheeses, in my opinion. I just think that the quality is the absolute best, and they have such a variety of different kinds of cheeses. What?
They rotate their selection.
Yes, and they do. Like Trey said, they rotate their selection. So they bring out different cheeses in different seasons. And so you're not always getting the same cheeses all the time. And that's what I love about making boxes and boards and grazing spreads and stuff is I want people to be able to try new cheeses, maybe something that they haven't ever tried before. And it kind of just gets people out there to maybe taste something that they've never tried before. So,
Oh, by the way, I'm also a professional taste tester now.
yes, Trey gets all the scraps.
Never thought that would be on my resume, but it is now.
So you can add that to the resume.
That's right.
So yes, I would say Trader Joe's. Costco also has amazing cheeses. Those are probably the top, like my top two places where I do purchase most of my cheeses from. Yeah, I would say those are probably the top two. So we will get started cutting the cheese. So first, we're gonna start with the manchego. So if you did get manchego, then we'll start with this. If you didn't, totally fine. You can do another cheese or whatever you guys have. Yes, I'll do that knife and cutting board. So I'm getting a knife and cutting board. I'm kind of pull this out in front. So like I said, with manchego, you can't eat the rind that's along the edges. So on this side and this side, we're gonna cut that off, kind of just like a, yeah, pull that way. Just cut it very carefully. We're not cutting the cheese, you're just cutting off the rind on both sides of the corners. So cut that side off, and then we will cut this side off. Like that. So you leave it on the back side, but on both sides over here, you cut that off. So we are going to cut it. It's actually called a zipper cut. So the way we're going to cut the manchego is probably like the size of like the end of your pinky finger over on the cheese. And you're going to cut it just all the way across in slices. And I'll show you guys the first slice. You can kind of get an idea of the size. So about like that and that thick around. Go all the way across. Let's see, we'll get closer.
That's good.
Mason, which one is this? Is it this one or this one?
Can't see your screen.
Can you see it?
You bet. The one in your, that one right there. No, other one. That one. Yeah, that one.
And you cut off both
Side.
sides, but not the back.
Yeah, leave the back on. Cut off both sides of the rind.
Okay, thank you.
That's my mom. So we're gonna cut all of that across. And I probably won't use this whole entire block of cheese on the board. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it all so you guys can see.
Now we can only see a picture of Trey in his wedding outfit.
We lost video. Hold on one second. There we go.
It's a good picture though.
Here. Okay. So once you have the manchego cut, you can go ahead and start with like 4 pieces. And what you're going to do is it's going to look like a zipper. So you're going to lay it where it's the opposite of each other. So I can pull it up so y'all can see. So you'll go like 2 facing one way and then 2 facing the other way. So you'll just alternate each time. So it's kind of like crisscross. And you can really put it anywhere on the board. I'm kind of putting it towards the middle. And throughout, every time I make a box or a board, I will move it around probably 500 times until I figure out where I really like it on the board. So once you have like quite a few pieces on there, it'll kind of look like a zipper. So this is just one technique in cutting the cheese. And I'll kind of show you guys so you can see. So it'll look like that when it's laid on the board. You can see my mom's so confused. Perfect. So we we got that.
Hey, question. Can you tell us how you did that with the cheese?
With what? Which part? Like cutting it?
How you got the fancy triangle?
Yeah.
Yes.
The crisscross.
Yes. Okay. So did you cut it in triangles like this?
More like rectangles.
Okay, that's totally fine. So you'll do like opposite. So you'll have one way and one the other way. So they're facing like opposite directions. It works best when it's in the triangle shape, but if it's in rectangle, you
It's
can
kind of like a Jenga board right now.
Okay, it's fine. Perfect. All right, so once you've got that part done, we're gonna move on to the Toscano cheese that I have. And on the ingredients list, this was like the triangle hard cheese that I put on there. So if you have something that's similar like this. So for this one, we are just gonna cut it just straight down. So it's gonna just sit on its back side. So I like to have the color, which is basically the rind of this cheese, but you can actually eat the rind on this cheese. And you'll have the back side where it doesn't have anything on it, face down on your cutting board. And you're just gonna cut it straight down. Like that. So if you have it like this, you're just cutting it straight down. So then when you cut it, it's got pieces coming off that look like that.
If it's Asiago, can you eat the rind?
Yes, you can absolutely eat the rind of Asiago as well. Once you have all of this cheese cut, I will then stack it back up and basically put it back together how it looked before I cut it. Usually take the end piece off because sometimes it is like already broken. Usually these are the pieces that Trey gets to eat. So I usually set those aside for him. And he's gonna eat it right now.
Mason, I got a really tall, skinny piece of cheese. What would you do with that?
Let me see. Hold it up for me. Where are you at?
Hold on. We're pulling up your video.
There you go.
Hold on. Keep it up. There we go. We can see it now.
Perfect. So what I would do for that one is just lay it flat. Like let's say here's my cheddar, just lay it flat like that. And I would just cut it like straight on across and just like thin slices. And then you can kind of flour it out on top of each other, kind of like a spiral look when you put it on the board, if that makes sense. So then for this, I'm gonna go ahead and set it on the board. I'm gonna show you guys first. So a couple things you can do is you can kind of like stagger them together so it makes like a layered design look. You can kind of see that. Maybe it'll stay. So like that, it kind of looks like a staggered design. So that's one option that you can set it out on your board.
If we need to slow down, please.
Yes, let us know.
Someone tell us.
And then another option that you can do is if you have something on your board that's bigger, like grapes, for example, you can kind of lay it against it and then fan out the cheese. And I will show you guys how that looks as well. So if you can kind of see on here, it's kind of fanned out and like leaning up against the piece that's in front of it. Looks like that. So those are two options you can do. And also sometimes, especially when we're doing like bigger grazing spreads to kind of pack more into the tables that we have been arranging, I'll just have the cheese like completely like sitting up like this. And then it's already cut, so then people can just take it off and eat it, which is really cool as well. So for this one, I'm just going to fan it out and stagger it on top of each other. Just like how I showed you guys. And then for the next cheese I told you guys, this is the crumbled cheddar that I have, and you could have got any type of cheddar. So if you just have like a solid block of cheese, just like I described, you can totally just cut it in like small slivers, like rectangle pieces, or you can just cut it all the way across and then across again, and you just basically make like cube cheese. Before this one, if anyone did get one that's similar like this, since it will crumble, I'm going to crumble it to put it on the board. I love the crumble just because I think it just kind of adds like some texture to the cheese when you're putting it on your board or in a box. And also just tastes amazing as well. So for this, I'm just crumble it. I kind of just break little pieces off.
Because you used to cut this cheese.
I did used to cut this cheese, and then I was actually on Pinterest one day and saw someone crumbling it. And I was like, wow, I'm actually going to try that. So it's really cool just to learn new things like as we're going. And that's also another reason that I love this too, is there's always new things to try, as well as new techniques to do and cool things that I'm learning. Like I had no idea even like what a kiwi flower even was until I saw it on Pinterest. So I'm just crumbling all this cheese up. I'm kind of doing like little chunks, and then like some small little pieces will fall off.
The small little pieces are mine.
Yep, sure are.
Just so everyone knows.
So it kind of looks like this, if you guys can see. So it definitely adds like some texture to the cheese. I can see that well. So once you do have it crumbled, or if you just cut it into cubes or rectangles, that is the cool thing about cheese, is that you can honestly cut them however you want and style them however you want. I think that's what makes every single board very unique too, and just adds character when people do make them. So for this, I'll probably just take like a handful of pieces, and I'll kind of put some on like the corner, some in the middle. One big thing about making a charcuterie board is you don't want to have a lot of one item in one spot. You kind of want to space it out, so you can do like, you know, like we did a kiwi flower here, we did a kiwi flower here, and then we can do just a handful of one cheese here, a handful of one cheese here. So that way, especially when other people are eating as well, you don't have 3 people going for the exact same corner that you're trying to go for when you're trying to eat your cheese. So you kind of have a variety throughout your board, or in a box or a spread that has the same item in multiple locations on the board. So I'm just going to set it in 2 corners on the board. If anyone has any questions still at this point, please pop on and ask.
Jackson, you good? I'm gonna check in on you.
Yeah, I was. Where do you learn all your techniques? At Pinterest? Where else?
Definitely Pinterest. I would say YouTube. You can literally YouTube absolutely anything. And another cool thing about, I guess, like the charcuterie community as a whole is I do follow on social media a lot of other charcuterie people. There's actually quite a few in the triad, which I really had no idea about until I started this business. So it's just been really cool to be able to connect with other people as well, to be able to bounce ideas off each other, teach each other techniques, help each other along the way. That's like just awesome to have that support. So definitely YouTube is a friend of mine to see kind of cool uniques, especially like the kiwi flower, how to cut cheeses. But like I said, social media, there's tons of videos out there as well, especially from the other charcuterie people that I do follow on there, to kind of see how they do things. And like I said, bounce ideas off of each other. So kind of all over, we learn the techniques and kind of how to do certain things.
So my dad, who's on this call as well, just texted me a question. He said, "Where do the Kraft cheese slices go? They are the best."
Yes, throw the Kraft cheese on there, as well as the squeezable canned cheese. You can use that.
That's at the very end.
Yeah. So once you guys have that type of cheese on your board, we'll get that started.
Just checking in on our video. Can everyone see?
Everyone see okay?
Still see us? Good.
Good. Perfect. Is there any other questions before we move on to some next steps or anything?
I have a question. Do you ever use any soft cheeses?
Yes. So I'm not a huge fan of soft cheeses when it comes to boards and boxes, just because they don't hold up too well when I am cutting them and kind of layering them throughout the boards and boxes. I do love to use soft cheeses on my grazing spreads or like larger boards for like parties and events. And for those, sometimes like Boursin is a cheese that I love to use. It's a very soft cheese. And for that, I'll actually whip it up and then put it into a container, and it kind of just adds like a pop of color to like a bigger spread.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people do like soft cheeses because then it's like easier to dip and stuff. So I do love using those for like bigger spreads and bigger boards. And brie, yes, Trey loves brie. So I do love using brie. The trick with brie is to pop it in the freezer for about 5 minutes or so before you are going to cut it, because it is so soft and will literally stick to your hands and to a knife and literally to everything. But brie is great to use. And when you do use brie, you can also cut it at the triangle angle like we cut the manchego. And you can kind of fan it out and it looks like a flower when you can angle it on top of each other. So that's a really cool technique
What's
as well.
the cool thing you do when you put the shapes in the brie?
Yeah, so another thing with brie that I actually did around Christmas time is I ordered Christmas. Actually, my mom got me some awesome Christmas cookie cutters. There was like a Santa and a gingerbread man and a stocking and stuff. So you can honestly use any type of cookie cutter. But if you get the round brie, the brand is President brie. You can honestly buy that at any local grocery store. And so keep it whole, don't cut it, and then pop it in the freezer for about 5 minutes, take it out, and then take any type of cookie cutter that you want, and you just push it all the way down. You just cut out a symbol, an object, anything in the middle of the brie. And then one cool thing I did is actually put the fig butter inside the middle of the brie. And so it kind of made like the outline of what the object was in the middle. And for example, the one I did was I did a star, I did a stocking, a Christmas tree. So that's a really cool thing to do as well with brie or really any soft cheese that is round. You can just push the cookie cutter down in there. So that's a really cool technique.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes. Okay, so
We also found some, Mason, we also found some at Valentine's Day cheese that were already cut like in the shapes of hearts.
yes, my mom she found some cheese that was already in the shape of a heart, which was really cool. I think it was one was like a blackberry cheddar and the other one was just like a white Stilton cheddar. And mom found those and was like, these would be amazing to use for Valentine's boards and boxes. And so they just have like a wax seal around them, so you just peel that off. So sometimes you can get lucky, especially when it's holiday season or there's like big, like especially like Valentine's Day, summertime, at local grocery stores, you can find cheese special occasions and holidays and that kind of thing for a board or a box. Okay, so once we now have all of our cheeses, we're gonna start on some meats. So on the ingredients list, I added on there for Italian dry salami. That's just the type of salami that I personally love, but you can get any type of salami or honestly any type of meat that is in like the round circle. So you're gonna grab some meat out. I kind of just have like a whole little sliver here. If y'all just wanna pop some out to start. Can you stick that in the freezer?
Yeah.
On a plate or something. Actually, just throw that one. There's two. Okay, so with your meat, if you want to go ahead and grab 2 pieces to start, you can kind of like peel it apart and fan it out so then it's easier to grab while we are folding it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. On your board. Okay. I think we're trying to record this so that we can share it after it's over and have it to keep. So I think it was cut off and cut back on. So I think we're good. Okay. So first way to fold meat is to take 2 pieces and just lay them on top of each other. So then you just have kind of a thicker piece of meat. You'll do the same thing with 2 more pieces. Then it looks like 2 pieces, but it's really 2 on top of each other. This just makes the meat thicker so that when you are folding it, it kind of has like some more leverage to stand up on your board. So what we're gonna do is learn this in school, fold it hot dog style. So it kind of looks like that. And then for this one, you're just gonna put it inside of the other one. And then loop it on over on the other side. So you're basically fold it the exact same way on both sides. And then it's just inside of the other one. So like that. Perfect. See, Emily is doing it. Awesome. So then I'll just lay this one down. And we're just gonna do the exact same thing a couple times. So take two on top of each other, both sides, fold it inside of the other one, fold it on top, just like that. So then eventually you'll start stacking them together and they look like that. So we'll just keep doing that a few times. If anyone has any questions right now too while we're folding meat, please ask.
So tell them about the prosciutto while we're doing the prosciutto right now.
This is not prosciutto.
Kind of tell them what we're doing with the prosciutto while we're waiting on it.
Oh yeah, so the prosciutto that we are gonna use on the board, I popped it in the freezer. Totally y'all's call, and if you didn't get prosciutto, it's totally fine. Like I said, any meat will work for tonight, but prosciutto, I have a love-hate relationship with prosciutto. It's amazing and tastes amazing. I absolutely love it with crackers and cheeses and dips and how to pair those together. But it's very hard to find really good prosciutto, as in good prosciutto that will fold well and cooperate for you when you are making a board. And that's just kind of like a known fact when it comes to the charcuterie community. Everyone gets pretty angry when it comes to folding prosciutto, because sometimes it can be very thin, and when you are trying to pull it off of the package to then being able to ribbon fold it, which I'll show you guys how we're going to do that, it sometimes likes to tear and stick to the other piece of prosciutto. So a little pro tip is just pop it in the freezer for about 5 minutes or so right before you're about to take it out to fold it, and that usually helps to do the trick right before you're about to fold it. So here we go. I've got my pieces of salami that are all folded together.
If you bought like a, you had to slice it yourself and it's,
Yes.
you just do like little rings and.
Yep, just little rings for it. That'll be perfect. Yep, so if you bought like, mine was already cut, but if you bought just kind of like a log of salami or any type of meat, you just cut it in little circles and that'll be the exact same thing, just like that. Perfect.
Where do you get these meats at?
So this salami, the brand is Columbus. You can buy it at honestly any local grocery store, but I do buy this meat from Trader Joe's as well, just because it does come in like the bulk packaging. I have found elsewhere it's not as much quantity in the package of what you're paying for. So when I do make my boards and boxes, I obviously want to give my customers the highest quality that I can find and that they can get. So I do like to buy the this one from Trader Joe's because it is the best quality, and I feel like the price is pretty competitive based on other places. But the brand is Columbus. You can buy it at other local grocery stores, but I do buy this brand at Trader Joe's. So if you would like to put this on your board of how this is folded, you can just set it really anywhere on there. Sometimes you might have to lean it up against another cheese that's on there or lean it up against some fruit. And that's one trick too when it comes to making a charcuterie board is you have a lot of different items that will go on there throughout your time making it. So you can also then grab something else to maybe like prop it up. So that is one trick as well when you're making it. So that is one way to fold the meat. I'm going to show you guys another way. So I'm going to unfold mine. If you'd like to keep yours that way, you totally can. If you'd like to try the other way, you can as well. So for this way, this is, we're actually going to make a salami river on the board. Let me pull this up. Okay. So for this one, we're going to take it and fold it in half again, just like that. And then we're going to fold it one more time, so it looks like that. So you have the circle, fold it in half, and then fold it again on top of itself. So it kind of makes like a little bit of a teepee kind of look, y'all can see. So we're going to do that a couple times with some more pieces and then just stack them on top of each other and make sure that they're all facing the exact same way when you're lining them up.
We have a question.
Yes.
Can you tell us how to redo that, how to make those?
Yes, so just start with circle salami. You're fine. Oh my gosh, y'all looks amazing so far. Look at y'all. Thank you. Okay, so for those who missed it, just full circle, just fold it in half one time and then over again. So circle, fold it hot dog style, and then over itself again. There you go, just like that. You did it. Perfect. So we'll do that a couple of times. And like I said, kind of stack it against each other, and you want it all facing the same way. So like the back sides are here. And I'll stack probably 8 or 9 pieces together. So then it kind of looks like that once you have a bunch of pieces all lined up. Perfect. And so for this, I'm going to then set it on top of the board and kind of fan it out. And then once you do add quite a few more pieces to go along with it, it then kind of looks like a river. And so that's where it gets its name, the salami river. So those are 2 techniques of how to fold round salami, or honestly any meat that is round. And I'm going to leave a couple pieces of the way we folded it the first time and put that on the board as well. So then if y'all can see, turn this around. Kind of looks like that with the meat.
Beautiful.
We're getting there. Awesome. Okay. So we did the salami. Next, if you did get prosciutto, we'll go ahead and get that. So I'm gonna pop mine out of the freezer. So the prosciutto that I got is kind of stacked on top of each other, and then it's divided with pieces of paper. So this is where I was mentioning that sometimes it can be a pain when it does stick together, but thankfully you can see it comes out just perfectly when you stick it in the freezer. So I'll pull off a couple pieces like this. So if you do have prosciutto, it should kind of just look folded out like this and flat. If you did get any other type of meat that is kind of long and thin, you can fold it this exact same way that I'm about to show you guys how. So for this, we're gonna do like a ribbon curl with the prosciutto. So you can kind of lay it out like this, and then your hand, you'll kind of just fold it over on top of itself like that. So then it's gonna kind of look like a ribbon curl when you do it. Y'all can kind of see this one's pretty flimsy. But when you do fold it, it'll look like a little ribbon curl. So you kind of just lay it flat and kind of let it just naturally fall on top of itself over and over. And then for this, you can kind of just stick it anywhere on your board. We'll do a couple pieces and you can stick them up beside each other. And then here's another piece. I'll show you guys again. So it's flat. And you'll kind of just ribbon it on top of each other. So then it kind of looks like that. And I'll stick this one back up against the other piece. And I'll do about 4 pieces on here. When it comes down to sizing for boards and boxes, it definitely depends on how many people will be eating from that board or box. Usually the right amount for cheese and meat per person is about 2 to 3 ounces as like a snack size. And then there'll be like 4 to 5 ounces of cheese and meat for a meal size if you were getting a board or a box to feed people as a snack or a meal. So this board right here that we're making tonight, and the ingredients list and the quantity that we are using, This will feed probably like 2 to 3 people, sometimes 4, just depending on how hungry everyone is, as a very heavy snack for each person.
This feeds me.
Yeah, just try. Okay, so I did 4 pieces of the prosciutto. If you guys can kind of see it up there.
The prosciutto takes time and it's can be
Yes.
really annoying. So
Yes, you were outside actually. That whole thing.
got it.
All right, so we did a couple pieces of prosciutto. I'll let y'all get all that together.
Everyone still good? Any
Yeah,
questions
any more
here?
questions?
There's a question in the chat.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Anderson's on here in Porter. So I will get to that in the very end. We'll talk about some flowers and the ribbon and everything like that. So that's an amazing question. And I will answer that in the end. Oh, I'm so glad they're on here. Perfect. Okay, great. So we've got our cheeses and our meats done.
One question.
Yes.
Where do we put the meats?
Wherever you can find space. So if you can kind of see on mine, I kind of just propped it kind of in the middle and it's leaning up against 2 cheeses and the grapes. It looks great. Like I told you, prosciutto is like a love-hate relationship. So sometimes it doesn't work, but that looks great.
Chandler, I didn't see you in there. What's
Yeah,
up?
there she is. Perfect. That looks awesome. Okay, great. So now we are going to add some dips or spreads or honey. The cool thing about when you do charcuterie boards is you can really do any type of dip or spread. I like to use ones that will pair well with the cheeses that I'm using on that border box. So for tonight, I know I told y'all to use honey, and then you could do a fig butter or a pepper jelly. I'm gonna use this piece right here. You don't want that. So for tonight, I have honey and fig butter. At home, if you have just like a small little like latte bowl or mixing bowl, something really small where you can add like a dip on it to put on the board, you can add that on there and set it somewhere. So for tonight, I have these small little plastic cups that I do use for my boards and boxes. So I pulled those out so I can set this on the board just so that y'all could see through better and see what it looks like when the board is all done. So I'm gonna set one on there and then the other one in like another corner. Y'all can kind of see that. So one will be for honey and one will be for fig butter. So whatever you guys have that you can use will be perfect. So I'm gonna fill one up with honey. And honey is amazing on absolutely any type of cheese, any type of meat. You can't go wrong with honey. Honey is the absolute best thing in the world. You can put it on anything. But the absolute best cheese that honey tastes the best with would be a cheddar cheese. It can be any type of cheddar, soft, hard, crumble, literally anything. So I do have honey on here now. And then next will be fig butter. And this is the best fig butter. I don't know if anyone is a diehard Trader Joe's fan like I am, but this fig butter comes from Trader Joe's. And it's just the consistency of it. I've tried probably 15 different fig butters from all over the place that I purchased. And this just hands down wins every single time. It's not super thick, it's not runny, it's just the best. So for tonight, I'm using this fig butter and we'll put it in the other little cup that we have.
What happens if your fingers get too greasy to open the cans?
Yeah, I struggle with that very frequently as well. So that's what napkins are for and paper towels, Jackson. So grab those. So here we have some fig butter.
What other spreads do you use?
Yeah, so pepper jelly I also include on the ingredients list. Pepper jelly is amazing when I sometimes include spicy cheeses. And I totally know that everyone doesn't love spicy stuff. I'm not a huge fan of spicy things. Trey can attest to that, like Doritos are spicy to me. But pepper jelly isn't super spicy. And if you do add it to a cheese and a meat, it kind of like dumbs down the spiciness to it. So I do love what, oh, hey Mimu, my little sister's on here too. Hey Mimu. So yeah, fig butter, pepper jelly. I also will do Dijon mustard sometimes. I did a lot of Dijon mustard when I did Super Bowl boxes because I included a lot of like hearty cheeses. There was like a bacon cheddar cheese that I found that I used. Dijon mustard is really good too with salami or with a cheddar cheese. So there's lots of different options out there. I have found like some local raspberry jams that I like to use as well as a spread. So you can't go wrong with any type of spread that you want to use for your charcuterie. And it kind of just kind of complements your cheeses and your meats. And one question I did get a few weeks ago from one of my customers, which was really cool, they asked what my favorite combo, like cheese, cracker, meat, dip, like I would say like taste would be. And so I said a sea salt cracker because sea salt is one of my favorites. And then prosciutto, cheddar, and a drizzle of honey. And if you guys have any of that tonight, definitely try it because it's absolutely delicious. So we have both of our dip spreads now. So I have honey and fig butter. So when you do order a box or a board for me, I have these cute little honeycomb sticks that I usually include with the honey. So I'm going to stick that on my board tonight to go with the honey. You guys can see. So we have the spreads on here. So we have our cheeses and our meats done and some of our fruits and now our spreads. So once you kind of get to this point when you're making your board, this is probably about the point where you're going to do like your fill-ins. So any space that's still left on your board or in boxes when I make them or spreads or large, bigger boards, we will then start adding in the rest of the fruit that we have left over. We'll do some mixed nuts. We'll do our crackers and our sweet treats, chocolates, cookies, those kind of things. So I have some blackberries for tonight. Blackberries. So I'm just gonna take a handful of blackberries and honestly just pop them anywhere where there's some room. I kind of like to put them near some of the meat so that way they won't bleed onto the cheeses, especially when I do blackberries and raspberries. The color of the fruit will bleed. So if I put up against the meat, it usually won't bleed, but sometimes up against the cheeses, it will. So I'll pop some right here. And like I said before, definitely have a variety throughout your whole entire board of where you do put things. So I'm popping some in the back corner.
Does anyone still have space on their board? It's probably a good question right about now.
Yep, you run out of space very quickly, which is a good thing. That means you have lots of yumminess to eat. So if you guys can see, I have popped some blackberries in 2 separate places on my board. We got kind of some in the middle and then some kind of towards the back of the board right here. All right, and then once we have blackberries done, or if you have blueberries, raspberries, honestly, any type of smaller fruit would work just fine. We will then do some crackers. So these are one of my favorite crackers. It is a white, just table cracker, very generic. You can honestly purchase them at any local grocery store, anywhere around. And I'll just probably take a handful, probably 6 or 7 crackers. And so just one technique for crackers is kind of just fan them out like this, if you guys can see, and lean them up anywhere you can on your board. The trick with crackers, especially if you are eating your board or your box the next day, you want to put them somewhere where like they can't soak up any grease from the meats or any oils from the cheeses. But if you're obviously making a board just for tonight and you're going to enjoy it after this is over, you can set it anywhere. So for mine, I'm kind of just fanning them out on top of each other in the corner. And like I said in the beginning, I move things around probably 500 times. So if you have to move some things around, that's totally fine. And I'm going to turn this so you guys can see. And I got them kind of fanned out here in the corner. All right, so next is on the ingredients list, I put on there some dried apricots. You can use honestly any type of dried fruit. The cool thing with dried fruit is it definitely adds color to your board, especially for apricots. They're orange and so pretty. And when you are eating cheeses and meats, sometimes your mouth can be very dry. So apricots and other fruits on the board will help kind of dye that down your mouth so you can enjoy eating more cheeses and meats. So I'm just gonna take a handful of these and set a few in the corner over here, maybe up against some grapes. And then take another little handful, maybe put them over here near the crackers or my kiwi, and kind of stack them on top of each other. And if you can kind of see, it just really adds like the pop of color to your board. Perfect. And then next, we'll do some sweet treats. Everyone loves chocolate and candy and sweet treats. So for tonight, I have some chocolate covered pretzels and some sea salt dark chocolate graham cracker pieces. And for these, you can honestly put these anywhere on your board. Most time people are going to go for these first, but I like to tell people to eat the sweets last because it definitely just complements the cheese and the meat when you're done eating it all on the board. So for the pretzels, I kind of like to do the same thing, just like set them on top of each other and kind of fan them out. So on these, I'll kind of set them up against the corner of the board and fan them out on top of each other. And if you're like Trey, this will be the first thing that you eat on the board. But you definitely should eat sweet treats last because it'll complement all the taste that you have in your mouth from the cheeses and the meats.
Do I have any other sweet tooth people on the call?
Everybody. Yes.
Yeah.
Ashley's like, yep, me. And then for my graham crackers, I'm going to set those on the back side of the board as well. But I put on there, you can use, like I said, chocolate covered pretzels, dark chocolate covered almonds, dark chocolate covered raisins. I'm not a huge fan of dark chocolate. I just became kind of a lover of dark chocolate. And they say that dark chocolate really complements hard cheeses and meats. And so that's why I do like to include those on my boards and in my boxes for customers, especially. You can also use cookies. I know when I make family boards and boxes for my family, my little sister loves cookies on her board. You can really get any type of cookie. You can't go wrong on any of the sweet treats because any of them will complement any of the cheeses and the meats that you do have on your board. So we have our chocolates on, and in the back side, I kind of laid out the chocolate graham crackers. You can see it's a little dark, but they're right here. So you should have almost everything now besides your mixed nuts, which I included in the ingredients list. So we have all the cheeses and the meats, your fruits, your spreads, crackers, your dips, all of those things. Is there any questions before we move on to the final steps?
I have a question. What about the dried apricots?
Yes. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Yes, dried apricots, we just did. So I just grabbed like a handful of those and kind of put them on the corner right there. Y'all looks amazing. That looks so good. Yeah, so just grab a handful of those. And I did like a few in the corner right here and then a few in the corner over here. Oh, lost some crackers there. Perfect. Yep. That looks awesome.
I don't know, Jackson. We might have to do a contest for best board of the night.
No, y'all better be
I don't
taking some
know.
pictures while you're doing this.
Can you go outside of the board, or are you supposed to stay like?
You totally.
limits?
That is the most amazing thing about charcuterie boards is it's your personal board. So however you want to do it. When I do like grazing spreads, it's really cool to kind of like go outside of the spread. So you can do anything. You can go outside of it, on the corners, literally anything, however you want it to look.
All right, y'all, check this out.
Look at y'all.
Oh,
I love the little Tupperware container.
Don't look at that part.
Don't judge. That was very judgy.
I love it.
I didn't have one small enough.
Perfect. It adds texture.
Jackson, I'm thoroughly impressed
Yeah, that looks amazing.
with you, not Kelly, more so you.
I've sent you pictures of my other boards I've created, so.
This might be a small step up.
So any more questions? Everybody good? Looking good? Perfect. Looks awesome.
Hold on, I'm seeing some people
Emily's.
showing their boards.
That looks good. I love that.
And y'all take pictures of your boards and then
Tag us.
Tag us on Instagram.
tag us on Instagram, tag Graceful Boards on Insta, tag Echelon and Graceful Boards because I'm
Yeah.
sure you're making some pretty creative stuff tonight.
The hookers are killing
Yeah,
it.
they
in
are
that.
killing the game tonight.
Oh, I gotta see the hookers.
Yeah, so what we did is we're going to a winery for Father's Day. So I packed mine in Tupperware.
That is
There
perfect.
we go.
So here's my board in Tupperware.
Yeah.
Mom and Mia,
There's
that
no
looks
graham crackers because we dang ate them all. It
Yes.
was delicious.
wow, that looks amazing.
I got it.
Awesome job.
Good.
What else we got so far?
Looks so good.
Mia's looks really good.
Yeah. Go Mimu.
I like it.
Yeah, y'all are doing an awesome job. Y'all's look better than mine. So good. Perfect. Okay. So really the final steps is what we call the fillers when it comes to boards and boxes. So we're going to do some mixed nuts, and I know I put on the ingredients list. Really any type of mixed nuts will work. An assorted mix, just cashews, just pistachios, just almonds. I do like to use an assorted mix, so then you kind of get a little bit of everything. And I will give y'all a little secret. These are the best mixed nuts in the world. I'm just biased, but they're so good. Like I said, I don't know if anyone shops at Trader Joe's as much as I do. We should get money back for how much I put on the credit card, but we won't talk about that. But if anyone does love Trader Joe's, they have a seasoning called the everything seasoning. And just like if you go to like a local bakery, you can get an everything bagel. So they make just the seasoning in a container that you can literally put on anything. It's amazing. So they have these everything but the bagel mixed nuts. And these are my absolute favorite. And every single person that I give these to say they love them. So what we're gonna do is just take a handful of the nuts. And at this point, if you do have any space left on your board, we'll use the nuts to kind of fill in those empty spaces. If anyone still has any questions too, please pop on, or anything that we covered or talked about or made or did, and you'd like to see it redone or have questions, please ask.
Cindy, I'm thoroughly impressed how your cat's able to hang out on your shoulders.
That's amazing.
That is awesome.
That's Monkey. And
Well-
Monkey's the best cat ever. All of our other cats are terrible.
One's good.
Well, yes, this is Monkey. I did send a question, but I don't know, I'm not as great on Zoom. If I wanted to do a no meat board.
Yes, I do offer a vegetarian board, which is awesome. So I actually have a friend that gets that orders from me quite often, and she doesn't eat meat. So what I like to do is just do extra cheeses, and then I'll include some veggies on the board. So I'll do carrots, or I'll slice up some cucumber pieces. And I've also done like some like pieces of like broccoli heads as well. And then when it comes to like the dips and stuff, I like to do a dip that can complement the veggies. So if someone doesn't like meat, you can absolutely do a board that doesn't include meat. Just do extras of the other things, and it'll definitely fill in the empty spaces of where the meat would have been. So that's really cool. And just
like people with nut allergies.
Yeah, nut allergies. I can cater to that. Gluten-free. I offer gluten-free boards and boxes. I have quite a few friends that are gluten-free. And so there's lots of options out there, gluten-free crackers and wafers and that kind of thing. Perfect. Okay, so if y'all got your nuts on there. So with my nuts, I kind of just filled in some empty spaces. And I'll show you guys. Pull it up so I can see the.
I'm gonna pull it up. Here we go.
Perfect. Okay. So on the back side, you can kind of see how I put some nuts there, and then in the corner over here, add a little bit more.
And we do get this question sort of frequently if we make vegan boards, and I don't.
Vegan is just very hard to do, just because when you are vegan, you can't have any cheeses, any meat. So I have not personally made a vegan board for anyone, but you can definitely do that and just do lots of fruits and veggies. So like I said, that is the cool thing about charcuterie is it literally can be absolutely anything. Like today I tagged my mom in something on Facebook. It was literally a Chick-fil-A charcuterie board of everything Chick-fil-A, which is amazing.
Sounds fantastic.
And I also offer dessert boards, but charcuterie, the definition of charcuterie is cheeses and meats. So technically it's not a charcuterie board, but it obviously falls in the category of charcuterie. So we do offer a widespread, and we cater to any dietary restrictions and allergies and that kind of thing as well. So we don't take that lightly. When people do have an allergy or dietary restriction, I always want to be able to cater to that to my customers and do that for them. So we should have pretty much everything done on your board. If there's any questions too, please pop up now and say.
So walk everyone through your current menu, kind of some things
I'm
you've
not
been.
done yet.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So if you want to like kind of pull it up a little bit, I can see. I
Pull
think
it
it'll be
up.
fine. No, I think it's okay. You can see. So I got a question about flowers from a sweet little boy who loves my charcuterie boards and boxes. So I obviously didn't include this on the ingredients list just because I want it to be kind of like a little extra credit for you guys. But one thing that you can frequently use on charcuterie boards are edible flowers. You can definitely get edible flowers honestly anywhere. Trader Joe's does offer them. You can get them at your local farmer's market, at Whole Foods, the fresh market, anywhere like that. They are edible, but that doesn't mean that they absolutely taste amazing. They are very bitter to the taste. So most people do not consume them when they're on the board, but they are edible. I don't put anything on my board that's not edible, obviously, besides the containers or your forks, knives, the honeycomb stick. Obviously, you can't eat those. They're in the closet. So I got a question about flowers. So these are edible flowers. And I got these tonight to show you guys. So like I said, you can get these anywhere. So Ms. Anderson, you and Porter can get these at the farmer's market, at Trader Joe's, Whole Foods. I've checked Lowe's Foods, but they don't offer edible flowers. Honestly, you can really put any flower on a charcuterie board that's not edible, but I won't do that just in case someone does eat it. So for these tonight, I have these two flowers. So I just want to show you guys how you can add these to your board, and it just definitely adds a pop of color and really just overall makes the board look amazing when you do add these. So I'm going to stick these on here. Sometimes I'll set them kind of in the grapes or on some fruit so you can see that. So definitely just really makes the board pop when you do add some flowers. You guys can see. And then another thing as well is I do like to add some fresh herbs to my board. I love using rosemary. You can obviously eat it, so you can peel off a couple pieces and put it on a cracker with the cheese, with the meat, and then with one of the spreads. So with the rosemary, I do like to sometimes like set it on the cheese. If I got the question about soft cheeses. If I do use some soft cheese on a board, I will sometimes stick it in the soft cheese as well. So for this, I'm just setting some rosemary on the board. I got the board. Perfect. Great question. Yes. So for that, I just put some rosemary on there. At this point, you should have almost everything on your board. So people got it all done. Perfect. So that is pretty much everything that can go on a charcuterie board and what we made tonight. Perfect. Y'all are looking great.
So Sharon asked, how do you wrap the board to take it somewhere?
Yes.
Good question.
So most of my boards and boxes that I offer on my menu for customers, obviously the boxes close up, so I don't have to do any wrapping there. But for my boards, I use the round bamboo disposable boards that are just pretty, but they're also people. I think Trace, I'm gonna grab some so y'all can see. But for those, I'll either just use some saran wrap or plastic wrap and just wrap it around very, very tightly. If you are going to consume your board, like let's say the next day or 2 days after that, what you can do is put a paper towel on top of it before you wrap it, and that'll help soak up any moisture that you might have coming from the cheeses or from the meats. So a couple different sizes that I offer in boards. So these were the round bamboo boards that I was talking about. These are some board options that I do use. This is actually a personal classic size, which is one of my menu options. This would feed one as a meal and sometimes can be a snack for two. And then I have this size, which is just my regular classic board. And this will feed 2 to 3 as a meal. So for these, your question, I do the whole entire board. If they are consuming it, like let's say the next day or the day after that, you can put a paper towel over on top of everything and then just completely wrap it in saran wrap.
And the same sizes come in boxes as well, right?
Yes, and I also offer box sizes, which are the exact same things. And if you do follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I do have my menu on there as well. I have a awesome website in the works that will be launching in just a couple weeks. That'll help mainstream like all of my orders, as well as people can get a better idea of like all the menu options. But it is located on my social media sites.
If it would help, Jackson, we can work with you to send out the menu after this as well, if anyone would like to see it.
That'd be awesome. And I was going to say, like, how are you taking orders today? And I think most of it is driven through social media.
Yes, most of it is social media. And like I said, when my website is finally up and running, that will be where I will get all of my orders taken, which will be awesome. But for orders, yes, my personal cell phone number is also on my social media pages. So I do get lots of messages that way, but just feel free to message me on Instagram or Facebook. I take majority of my orders through there. And I also have a personal email that is located on my Instagram and Facebook. And I can enter in my phone number and email on here as well.
We'll drop it. We'll drop her cell phone number in the chat and email.
So for any orders or questions or inquiries, please reach out and do that. And most of the time, I will just have people ask, you know, I have X amount of people coming over tomorrow night. What size board do you suggest? And that's when I will say, okay, this will be the perfect size. Are you wanting just a light appetizer snack before your meal, or do you want this board to feed everyone that's coming? And so I love answering all those types of questions. If anyone does have questions for future orders, if anyone would like anything, please ask, and I'm happy to help in any way at all.
And like anniversaries, y'all put together like, not like, oh, it's our 50th anniversary, and you do numbers that are boxes, which is so like, that's so cool.
I do offer when it is a special occasion, like Jackson said, for anniversaries or birthdays, I have very cool things that I can add to it that will correlate to that theme. So I do like numbers. There are cool glitter numbers I can add on there. So like I did a 50th birthday. I've done, you know, 30 and fabulous was a little sign that I added in there. And I can do glitter, happy birthday little sticks. We do specials all the time for holidays. We did like Mother's Day specials. Christmas and Valentine's Day was absolutely insane. And I would not have gotten through that without Trey or my mom. Literally came to my rescue and helped with all of those orders. And we are so thankful for that. So for Valentine's Day, we did awesome Valentine's Day themed things. gracefulboards@gmail.com. Yes.
Sorry, I dropped her personal email there.
Either one is fine, but that's my business email for order inquiries and questions. So yeah.
And what is your Instagram?
Instagram is just @thegracefulboards.
And that's so the first part of the email address that I just dropped in the chat.
The Graceful Boards is Instagram. Yeah.
Mason, share about your spreads.
Yes, so for spreads, and I can have Trey kind of pull up some pictures too, but we do offer spreads for bigger events and parties. Really just like the physical board that I offer that is the biggest would be the large party board, which is this size, plus another one that's like a little bit bigger around this one. So the highest board that I have that can feed people is up to 10 people. So anything higher than that, I would then suggest a spread for your party or event. So for spreads, I'll go and see, but
can everyone see that?
Yeah, there you go. Kind of comes out. So for that one, that was actually a 1-year-old birthday party, which is absolutely amazing that these parents did this for this 1-year-old. It was absolutely incredible. So for spreads, we do come to the location of the party or the event or your home. We just did a spread this past weekend for a wedding, but it was in a bridal suite for the bridal party to eat on while they were getting ready for the day, which was really cool. So for spreads, we will physically come to wherever you are having your party and we'll lay down butcher paper that I love to use. It's just easy to clean up, as well as it's something that all of the food can then go on. We bring everything with us, and then we will fully set up the whole entire spread there as well. And for spreads, we also include lots of greenery and flowers that can fit the theme of your party or event. There's another one will kind of pop up there. There you go. Yeah. So for that one, that was the bridal party spread that we just did this past weekend. And so for that, I will always surround it with greenery and flowers and that kind of thing, which just really adds like pop of color and texture to the spreads. Yes. And then something new that
Jackson mentioned this earlier.
Something new that we now offer are charcuterie numbers. I actually just did this for my parents' 50th birthday. So this is a new menu item that we have, and we can do. Obviously,
Susan turned 29. Rick
Yeah.
turned 50.
my parents. Yep, that's right. So we can offer numbers, and we can also offer letters. So let's say your parents are having a birthday and your dad's name, is Rick, for example. That's my dad's name. I can literally spell it Rick if you wanted to, or for Father's Day, just dad or anything like that. We do offer charcuterie numbers and names, so letters and symbols and that kind of thing, which is really cool. I think that's pretty much it, all I offer. Yeah, so then when you do order a box from me, as well, the honeycomb stick that I showed you guys for the honey, I do offer disposable bamboo knives. And these are great to use for the spreads, to go on your cheeses. And then I also will offer little sports. So they're just fun and cute, and especially for people who are taking their board or box, like let's say, actually, they're going to like a vineyard or a winery. I always like to include these for you guys, just because I don't expect y'all to be carrying around a fork from your house. And this just helps so you can eat it on the go, or you can take it somewhere and travel with it. And so I always want to include these. Another question I got too was, as well as the flowers, I also will wrap up my boards and boxes. If they are in a box, I'll then tie like a pretty ribbon or bow around them. I do like to get all of my ribbon and bows from Hobby Lobby. They have like all of assortment of colors and patterns and designs. So for each holiday and special occasion, I will give a ribbon that kind of matches that. Like for Valentine's Day, I got some pink and red and stuff with hearts on it, or said I love you, or you're the best, and those kind of things. So Hobby Lobby has great ribbons and bows and stuff like that that you can get to wrap up your boards and boxes if you are, let's say, taking it to a friend or taking it to a party, and that just adds just some color and very aesthetically pleasing to your boards and boxes. Did anybody else have any more questions?
What did you want us to tag? Did great your Instagram and Echelon?
Yes.
Is that like Echelon Winston-Salem or?
So the Echelon Instagram is Echelon Winston-Salem, and then the Graceful Boards is the Graceful Boards on Instagram.
Yes. And I'm on Facebook as well. I'll put that in here for you guys.
And Mason, I think this is a good transition point for Emily to announce the winner of. So Mason and the Graceful Boards have so gracefully offered a free charcuterie board to our online giveaway winner. And also I want to personally thank Hive Boutique. They donated $25 to their new boutique, which is fabulous. And I want to give a huge shout out to Winston Wondering. I appreciate all their support of this event. And so I'm going to yes, Winston Wondering is in the background. Hi. I'm going to let Emily announce the winner, and then I'm going to close us out if that's okay.
Okay, so after it was closed the other night at 5 o'clock, we had the winner, and it was Jenny Hewitt. And she's actually here with us tonight.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Jenny. Again, thank you so much, Mason and Trey. I just wanted to let everyone know on this call that the Graceful Boards were, they were humble not to mention this, but kind enough to offer this education free tonight. And so that allowed Echelon to raise money to support the homeless shelter, as well as the children, Boys and Girls Club. And essentially that would also get around 15 people off the streets to provide shelter and food. So I want to just say appreciation to everyone on this call. Your donation is, it's treasured, and it does a lot. And I hope you had fun tonight. And I hope you go online and follow the Graceful Boards and support them. They've been excellent and wonderful to work with. It's been such a blessing. Again, I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to do a special thank you to the Echelon board. They're an excellent group of young professionals. They're hardworking and they're dedicated to changing the community and loving on those in the community that are in need. And so I appreciate everyone being here, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.
Thank you guys so much. And the winner, Jenny, is that your name? Say Jenny. Perfect. If you just want to shoot me a text, I put my number in the chat, or DM me on Instagram. Texting would be perfect. And then we can set up a time and I will get your free box to you. Yay. Thank you. Thank you guys. And Jackson, Kelly, guys, Ashley, thank you guys so much. It's such an honor for us. It's such a cool experience. And we don't take it lightly that you guys asked us to do this. And it was just so much fun. And so we love getting to be with you guys tonight. And like I said, you know, my heart is for the community and for everyone around us. And so we just really enjoy helping as much as we can whenever we can. So thank you guys again so very much.
Thank you, Mason. That was awesome. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
Everyone have a great night.
Thank you guys.
Good night. Appreciate it. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.